Welcome to Power Women of the Trades podcast. This show is all about breaking barriers and changing the game. Our guests will feature some of today's most successful female entrepreneurs and other advocates of our industry as well. Because if there's one thing we know for sure, female-led entrepreneurship drives change on multiple levels. We want to empower women in the trade industry like you so you can maximize your potential, stay balanced, achieve long-term success, and claim ownership over your life. Let's get started.
Hi, I'm Kelly Rowlett-Presgrave. I'm president and CEO of Work With Your Hands, and we are so proud to be a sponsor of Power Women of the Trades podcast. You can reach us at workwithyourhands.com. Kelly at workwithyourhands.com is my email.
At Relentless Digital, we believe in breaking barriers and driving innovation. That's why we are extremely proud to sponsor the Power Women of the Trades podcast, supporting the voices and success of women in the home service industry. Together, we're creating a future where talent shines, regardless of gender, and diversity thrives. Join our journey at relentless-digital.com and always be relentless in your pursuit of excellence.
This episode of Power Women of the Trades is also brought to you by Forrest Perry of Forrest Perry Digital Marketing. Want to generate more leads for your service business? Trust his team to deliver quality new customer leads and protect your brand online. Check out perrymarketing.com today.
Chirp, the ultimate automation toolbox for home service businesses. Chirp helps you capture more leads, connect faster, close more deals, and create customers for life. Through text message, email, and ringless voicemail automation, Chirp can help you transform your customer's experience. Learn more in the show notes below.
Welcome to part 2 of a 2-part series on the Power Women of the Trades podcast.
So relentless.
It's therapeutic to drive. And that's literally like our 45-minute walks or so that Brittany and I take. It's so therapeutic for us because we all the stuff because we're in the same house all day, but she's on the other end of the house. Honestly, and she's so busy now, like with her own stuff and doing her thing that I barely see her. Like we come out to the kitchen to grab a snack and it's like, okay, we got like 5 minutes. But when we take a walk, we got 45 minutes of, we leave our phones at home. There's no distractions. We usually take the dogs and then it's just pure us time, which is what's been super beneficial. I think Brittany's actually counseled a couple of our other clients on what we've done to like help them like, hey, you're going to go do this. Okay. And I'm going to check back in with you. And you
I love
she
that.
Would honestly, if she wasn't doing this, she would be a counselor of some sort. So that's what she loves to do.
I can see that in her too. I love that this time has been, I mean, just for our listeners here, like for seriously, this conversation is Josh's opportunity as a sponsor to talk about Relentless. And instead he's choosing to talk about how great his wife is. And I really
I love it.
Josh, you're such a guy. You're a good dude. Like such a good guy.
But we do need to talk about what
we got to talk about
Relentless.
Relentless.
Because when people ask me, and people do ask me, you know, I always say I have the best marketing team. I believe like I have handpicked the best marketing team, and I have, it's like the trifecta. I got
Everyone's
the trifecta.
Like, what does Josh do for you? I've had this question multiple times. What does Josh do for you if you had to, and this is the truth, the real and the raw, because at Quality, Kaylee's the marketing director and she manages all of the relationships and we work with multiple teams. And if I had to make cuts and things, would Josh be one? Nope. Because I can tell you right now, Josh does a lot of things for us. Our SEO is bussin'. Okay. Is bussin' still a good word?
I don't know.
Bussin'?
I don't know. Our 13-year-old says it all the time. So it must be a good
then
word.
it is.
Okay.
Good job.
But our Google Map packs,
That's right.
like
GMB
nobody can
optimization.
touch them.
Yeah.
No one can touch you.
I appreciate that.
I don't know.
And that's how the company started. That was the only thing we did for the entire first year. And that's how Leslie got in touch with us. And she got us in touch with the coach she had at the time. And we did. And honestly, a lot of those people that that first initial conversation when I had this tiny little crappy office that I rented because I wanted something outside the house. But it was Leslie got us into an opportunity with a lot of plumbers because most of our clients were HVAC at the time because that's where I came from and what I knew. But that is the foundation of everything we've ever done. And the reason a lot of digital marketing companies do all of the services is because they get asked a million times from their clients.
Yeah.
Oh, can you help me with Facebook? Can you help me with YouTube? Can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And they're like, yeah. And they keep doing this. one thing, and honestly, I've considered different things at different times, but Matt Tyner is he's that wealth of wisdom type because he works for these big companies and he kind of sees things at a different level. He said, just stick to the basics and just be the best at the basics and what you do. And that's really been our focus. We really haven't added much over the years. Obviously, we do websites now because it's a very close correlation to what we had done. The biggest change we've made in the last year and a half was helping with outbound messaging. And because for us, it was like, well, what can we do when clients are slow?
Yeah.
Because the worst feeling in the world is like your hands are behind your back, they're tied up. I can't help you. Like my hands are like this. I don't know what to do for you. So doing the outbound messaging, because that's stuff I used to do at professional, not necessarily so much the text, but email nurturing and video content.
Wait,
and stuff
what are
like
you
that,
talking about? A new thing you've added?
Like
Do
Chirp.
I know it? Are you talking about
I think
Chirp?
you're referring like Chirp and doing the
Are you doing something
Chirp.
else?
We have our own app through GoHighLevel and stuff like that too. We run both. Actually, Adam Dye, who's your guys' CSM, he's the one that he does a lot of the actual messaging and some of that stuff for us. And
Is it just text or are you doing email?
mostly text. We're hiring a campaign coordinator that's gonna help with emails. It's just because otherwise the emails fall on me, and I know I'm not the best, just timing and stuff like that. But
What
mostly
about your
text
AI
message.
stuff? Are you ready to talk about that?
path. He's like,
You don't have to.
in a couple of weeks.
okay.
Because
TBD.
We've been I think everyone's working on something with AI. And for us, it's like, well, we already, clients trust us to do certain pieces of their marketing, their website, their SEO, their Google My Business listings. And then the outbound text message is like, well, how can we, without getting into like pay-per-click or social media, because I know Jen McKee, Forrest Perry, like they're freaking awesome at what they do. They're the best. They're like the best at what they do. And every single client we have that has taken me up on our offer to like have us do that, have Forrest run PPC, and then Jen do social, they're blowing up.
That's the original trifecta.
That's the trifecta.
That's the trifecta.
Yeah.
That's the trifecta.
Yeah. I literally, a guy in Florida, Dustin Vetter, I don't know if you guys ever ran across him. He's about 3 years in business and he's got the same trifecta. And he's talking about, he's having the greatest year he's ever had.
Yeah.
So listen, I have to tell you guys, like, this is one of the things I was telling Kaylee. We have something coming that we're doing with quality in the next year and a half. Like, we're going to start doing mass media type things. And I had to make a decision about a budget for that. That was scary as hell. Okay. I told Leslie and she literally was like, pass.
Those are big. Those are usually really big numbers.
Really big numbers. And so when we're talking about a 20-month thing, right? And
I need to do that. I never did the math on that.
Yeah. She's like, let me hang on. I was talking to Kaylee about it, about how you come to those decisions, right? And I said, in the end, 5 years ago, marketing was like non-existent for quality. She's like, okay, we can do it. Marketing was like non-existent for quality, right? And then I had to like grow a pair of balls. Am I allowed to say that? Should I say that? I don't know.
It's your show. You can say whatever you want.
I had to put on my big girl panties and say, we got to market. And now we spend a lot of money in marketing. Okay. So when people all the time, they want to come and to us tell them how we did what we are doing and how we grew fast and how we do these things. And it's because we are taking on people like Josh that
people are scared of that.
People
cannot fathom the thought that you would allocate anything above 10% marketing of revenue to gain market share.
But some people won't even do 10%.
I know.
Yeah. And then it's like, oh, Josh, that's your fee. Well, now I'm like, oh, yeah.
Well, and then you're like, well, what's your goal?
Right.
That's another thing that I asked him, like, well, then what's your goal? You cannot gain market share without paying for marketing.
Yep. So it's like, I remember a time that I was like,
unless you're acquiring,
right?
Unless you're acquiring.
But even acquiring, like you still have to do a lot of work on that.
Yeah.
There was a time that I thought, I told Oscar the other day, I was like, can you believe that there was a time that I thought I had to not talk him into it, but I was like, hey, I want to start doing pay-per-click with this guy named Forrest. And I think it's going to be like $10,000 a month. Y'all.
Forrest is laughing.
His jaw hit the floor.
And it's like, he's like, and then it was like, for the first few months, maybe that's what we spent. Now we're averaging, like $60,000 a month. And we're like, ugh. But are we rapidly growing? Yeah. Did it have to take some kahunas to do it? Yeah. And that, I bet you see that, Josh, a lot, like talking to people and they want you to just be their magic ticket, but they don't.
Well, it's not going to be an SEO.
No. And that's the misconception is like SEO or PPC PPC or Facebook is going to be like the thing that gets you everything that you've ever dreamed of. And it's a mix.
Yep.
And the problem is, I'm sure there's some bigger digital marketing companies that can do really well at all because they have specialists in all these different ways. But honestly, from my experience, they can't because the owner started the company because they were good at something. Mm-hmm. That's their focus.
Yep.
And then it's like, well, we'll add these other things so they don't go to a competitor and all this stuff. But they're not really that good at it, and they don't really invest the time or the energy and the resources. You just can't be a master of everything. It's just not the way the world works. It's
like why we do HVAC, but we don't do refrigeration, and we do heat and air, but we don't do geothermal. And geothermal is needed in some parts of our area, but we quality do not focus on geothermal. And we tell our customers that there's only about 2 companies in our area that actually have trained people to do those. And unfortunately, we really don't want to have to refer you to someone else, but we're not going to do you any, we'll be able to do it. It's going to take us longer, and we're going to have to do some more training, right? And it's like, yes, Josh, like you're saying, you started as the Google Map and the GMB, and you are fantastic at that. And then you would add on likely some of these other things because your clients asked you, but then that wasn't ever the immediate focus because you were so great at something else, And so you have to start picking like, what can I do really great at? And like for us, we do really great at residential service for our customers.
And I think that's why, at least in my experience, when I have referred people to Josh, one of the things that I always say, because a lot of contractors might have a bad taste in their mouth about marketers. And I said, the thing about Josh is like, he stays in his own lane. He doesn't try to say, yeah, I'm going to do your PPC and I can do this. He will and he has said that to me. He's like, I don't really want to do that. I'll try it for you. Mm-hmm. But he would then make a referral for me.
Yeah.
And that is almost unheard of. That is almost unheard of.
I feel like in the marketing world we're in now, it's not that we're really consultants, but I feel like we have to know the landscape really well in order to be a reputable company. Like you have to know where to go for things because clients ask us direct mail vendors, CRMs, like we get asked, answering services get at all the time, like recommendation. It's just really hard to make recommendations for some of these things because everyone's business is so different. Mm-hmm. But I feel like we have to kind of know the landscape because we do get asked. We're like a central hub because we have so many conversations. Like most vendors and stuff, like your distributor. Yeah, you may see your TM once in a while, but sometimes your marketing better. Like Kaylee, I see the chat and Slack. Kaylee and Adam, they talk all the time. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's like if you need a recommendation, it's good for us to have something because we want to provide additional value for you guys. We want to see you guys succeed because if we give you guys a great recommendation that takes your business further, it's going to reflect well on us. Yep. But it is very hard to find great referrals. Yeah. And a lot of referrals have dollars trailing behind them.
And you don't even know. We've had this conversation before. Like there are so many under the table things like deals where I might just be asking someone and they're recommending someone who's probably not that great, but they're doing it because they're getting a kickback. And I always felt really naive to that. Mm-hmm. And it makes you feel like, who can you really trust for good information?
Yep.
So when we started referring Forrest, because I realized just how good and how brilliant he was like trying to throw money. He's like, I'll pay you for this. I really appreciate it. Like, he was so appreciative of the fact that we were consistently referring him. And I'm like, Forrest, dude, just keep doing a good job. Man, that's all. Like, if you just do a good job, I don't care because our clients are going to win, and that's really at the end of the day. If they keep winning, guess what? They're going to feel really good about us being a partner,
right? 100%.
And for us, that's the same thing with Jen. Like we refer Jen all the time because she's fantastic,
amazing. But what I love about Jen is like she knows her space. Like she is social media. And I think that's a profound thing also, Josh, because I've had a meeting before where by all accounts, one of your competitors is also a partner of quality, and I call it the state of quality marketing, and we're all on a Zoom, and not all of the people in our space are willing to do that, and so being able to have relationships with your competitors, I say in quotation because I talk about our competitors as I'm my only competitor, right? But you're willing to partner with them and leverage your experience and what other people are looking for. That says a lot about your character and your business operation. conversations just by the action, because there are so many other people that I have worked with, that quality has worked with, and that was not true. It was like, what do you mean I'm not good enough? Like, it's like, no, we're your one-stop shop. No, we have to do it this way. No. And it's like, it's not going to work out,
Yeah. And it's funny because I have these, you guys have probably seen them every once in a while. I have these conversations. And honestly, even our company, like I hire specialists for us. You think the marketing company is not going to hire him for marketing? I hired a Facebook person for ads. I hired someone to help with emails. Like I hire specialists for us too. Like, yes, can I write emails? Sure. With AI, but I pay over $2,000 a month for someone to write me emails because he does a freaking fantastic job, and it's really good quality stuff. I try to tell people this, but it's very hard to admit because one, I think a lot of people in the contracting space, they don't love talking to marketers because they don't understand it. So it's like, I don't understand it. I think it's all like voodoo magic dust,
right?
You do this thing and something happens. So they'd rather just not know about it and kind of keep it in the closet, if you will. But
we've been bamboozled by some people.
That's true. And you guys, honestly, we all get, believe it or not, marketers get hit up a lot for the cold outreach stuff too. But you guys get marketing companies. Oh, we can rank you on page 1 in 30 days or 60 days or whatever. We can get you 100 leads in the next hour if you sign up today. Like it's just stupid offers out there are ridiculous.
The LinkedIn and Facebook messages that come in between 12 a.m. and 8 a.m. for me because they're overseas something, whatever, it blows my mind. I'm like, first of all, red flag, because and I'm not saying that I've definitely had partners that worked in other countries, fine. But if I've never met you, you just slid into my DMs and are promising me leads at 3 a.m. You probably just decided to maybe send a message to to an HVAC contractor, and you are also marketing for a tanning salon, because you can't, it's not the same.
No.
So I think people just have been bamboozled. I like that word today. And we've seen so many people come and go. I was thinking the other day, like one of the first times when I was ready to start, me and Oscar were like, okay, we're going to start using this marketing company. I was at a trade show from I think I was at a vendor event or carrier thing. And it was they had this trade show and they had all these people there. And I remember talking to this guy and I thought he is going to be able to do what we need to do, and he gave me this car salesman vibe too. And he had this Rolex on or whatever, and I remember back then,
Who
whatever.
Was it? Anyone I know?
No, because I can't even remember his name because he's not in our freaking space anymore. And I was thinking that one of this first one. And it's how many other people have came in and tried and jumped in and tried and jumped in. And that's why when people jump into the market.
I always tell Ryan Redding, I would not want to be a marketer in our space.
You've told me that too, Leslie. I think you shared that with me.
I would never want to be a marketer in our space.
Because there's been so many that have jumped in and lie, cheat, and steal, that it's made, because they are not all like that. It's made everyone else put red flags or
and their
walls
customer
up.
Base. We have all these groups that is their entire customer base, and you've got one contractor who may not even understand how to answer the phone and convert calls, and they blame their marketing company, and then it becomes this retaliation thread, and it's just even me, I'm y'all are wild.
Yeah, you have to the marketing company can take you to the plate and get you ready for the stance to swing the bat. But if you don't swing the bat, that's not the marketing company's fault.
Right.
I just had this conversation with somebody who decided they wanted to argue why they would never hire a marketer. And it was because small company, I think a very niche audience of $1.5 to $3 million houses in Massachusetts. I don't even know what he did. Must have been high end something. And, but he's like, well, if you can't give me the exact leads I want, that's why I wouldn't hire a marketer. I'm like, well, that's not really, yes, to a point, the messaging and stuff is to get to talk to that avatar, especially if you're doing paid ads, because paid ads is trying to go grab somebody that you want versus search where you're trying to show up as much as possible. But yeah, you guys are absolutely right. It's difficult because right now the time we're recording this is the end of March. It was a very mild February in most of the US after a cold January. And so they get antsy and they think that the next marketing company is going to solve my problems. And it's almost, I won't say it's never the market. There's marketing companies that are bad, but a lot of times there is a lot of juice to squeeze from your customer list or from your base or from your open estimates or from your members. Instead of looking for the next great thing, if we just looked internal, Just like we talk about, like, if you have problems with relationships, maybe you need to look at yourself versus look at, it's everyone else's fault. Everyone else is an ass. I don't know if I can say asshole. Everyone else is an asshole. It's not my fault. I'm perfect.
Say asshole.
I need to text you after this and ask you about your outbound stuff.
Yeah, there's just like, you have to reflect, we've talked about Forrest a lot here. Forrest, he will group message me all the time with like his other people, maybe some of his other customers. He always asks permission. Like, he doesn't just be like, hey, and he's like, they're struggling here. And he's like, he listens to all of our calls, and our call center knows he's going to even cold call them sometime and check in. And one day they said, Forrest just called and we were talking to him and he was giving us the kudos again. But our call center is trained to do what they're supposed to do with that call. Right. And so he has struggles with that all the time of like, okay, I'm getting the leads to come in and they're like, well, it wasn't a quality lead because blah, blah, blah. Well, I listened to the call and you kind of sucked at it, And so it's the same thing with you. Like, you have a job to get the phone to ring or to get someone in the door, but the contractor, the company, the people that are on the other side, it's your job to take it from there. Someone can hand you a bucket of fish, but you got to put the pole in the water.
Well, I even tell that to my team when we are setting our calls for the next day and we're setting our leads and stuff. I'm like, guys, I can't tell you at 10 o'clock the phone is going to ring for a perfect water heater call. Mm-hmm. You guys got to go out there and create the opportunity. Yeah. All I got to do is put the calls on the board, and I'm doing that. It's your job to make the opportunity of the call. And, we run call by call, so that's what we do. But it's like, you saying that contractor says, if I can't get you the perfect lead, I mean, can you imagine if I was just waiting for...
I would love perfect leads too. Like, if I could find companies in like the $2 to $10 million range that need a marketer and
super successful entrepreneurs, right? Like, you have to create the opportunity, and that's why you have to have a process in how you run calls and answer the phones. But I tell my team that because I will see them burn through a call, and I'll go in the Slack channel, and I'm like, you didn't follow the process at all. Mm-hmm. It's not my fault. I didn't give you a quality call at exactly 10:15 a.m. that was someone's 15-year-old water heater burnout. It doesn't work like that.
But it goes back to, it's the manager has to train, the manager has to train the call center, and the call center, the manager has to also train the technician on what to do with the call. Because I had a technician one time say, if the call center could get better information, nope. Like, there's a list of things that they can get, but they're not there to diagnose that call for you. So you can run in with blinders and not follow the process. And you know what I mean? They wanted more information, more this, more that. I need to be better prepared. You are prepared. You have a stock truck and you have a mind and you have a process. And they wanted more because that's where they came from, another company it's like they come to us because they want more consistency, hours, a reliable check, all these things. Well, that comes with a process because that's how we do that. But I want to go back to, my dispatcher basically told me exactly what I had to go do when you get there. And you're like, oh no, we're not doing that here. Or one time it's like, well, if I had better calls, well, if I had a pond across the street and I could just take all the good calls, I'm going to do it. Right. But that's not how this works.
I've had texts tell me that you give all the good calls to so-and-so. That's why they sell more. I'm like, honestly, I mean, at some point you have to do that if you need revenue and stuff. But when it's busy, like you're just busy. Hey, you're close to this person. You're going to this call. Like, you just got to get them done. But it's funny because we use Searchlight. And I know you guys know this, but it's funny because I look at this stuff from a very high level view. I don't get super granular too often because it's a bit of a rabbit hole for me. But because we do the same work for someone in Oklahoma as we do for someone in Texas, it's California, or whatever state they're in. We do the same work. But the biggest difference we see is the operations of the business, and that completely changes their ROI on our services. And it's the same thing with PPC. It's the same with social. If as a community or as a business group, if we focused on the operations of all of our businesses, we would be so much stronger. And your marketing, even somewhat crappy marketing, would work way more effectively because you knew what to do with the calls that you got.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I all the time talk about like, or not all the time, here recently, we've had some changes, and one person or one company that's tried to recruit from our team and all the things. And I said all the time, you can do and try and whatever, but you can't recreate the magic that happens inside of our company, and you can't recreate the processes that we do because you can try, but the facilitator of them is still here, and so you've got to take what you get and own it and do what you can from the call. But I think at the same time, because that is how you have to trust your marketing company. That's why some of these sleazy other companies have been able to come in and lie, cheat, and steal a little bit because they pushed more on that trust the process. And you're like, but you're not even doing anything. You know what I mean? So that's why it gets crazy.
Yeah.
But I can tell you firsthand from Quality, Leslie can say from Champion, our partnership with Relentless is exactly above and beyond expectation. And if you are needing somebody to start your relationship with, we highly recommend. And GMB, you're not going to find anyone better.
Nope.
No.
Well, I appreciate that. When the opportunity opened up to sponsor, because one, obviously, I mean, it's funny. I don't know if it was Cassie, it was you, or I think I saw a post like 5 years ago in my thing. And it said like, oh, Cassie's liked your post or something. And I was like, hey, Cassie, we've been friends for like 5 years. But and I've just seen the evolution. You know, the longer you're in this game, you see the evolution of Leslie and her business and the social media stuff that really you started to bring, and Cassie and Quality, and you guys like just the growth and stuff you've experienced. It's just been like, I had the opportunity to support this show and support your guys' mission and what you guys are doing. And it was like a no-brainer, like literally is you guys, because you were texting Tersh and I about some stuff, and I'm like, yep, I'm in. Like, I don't even care what this, just sign me up. Like, because I know the quality of people you are and what you guys stand for. And it was like a no-brainer for us.
Yeah, I was excited when you wanted to, because I had always felt like you are who I always referred when people would ask me. You know, it made it easy for me to go. Yeah,
because I think like, don't get clouded on that. As now, Josh definitely sponsors our show, and Relentless sponsors the show, and we are super appreciative of that.
But we've been working with Josh
been referring,
personally in our own businesses for years now.
I think for Quality at 2.5, maybe almost 3 years, but at least 2 years, as long as Kaylee's been with us. And then,
gosh, then how long have I?
Yeah,
Kaylee's great, by the way. Kaylee, if you're listening, you're fantastic.
She cannot hear you right now. She's working over there.
Okay,
but
he's saying nice things about you.
He said you're great. She is wonderful. She does a great job for us. But beyond that, like, we've been referring to you well before any type of sponsorship of Power Women of the Trades. It's because I can refer Relentless because you align with the same morals and ethics that I do. And that's it. You know what I mean? Like, there's just, I can trust,
and
because
it
works too. But like, when you align with the same things, and you know that I do not want to put my name on someone, especially when it comes to business, man. Like, I've seen through the 10 years of doing this, I've seen so many businesses come and go, people go bankrupt, things happen, and it's a heavy burden. And so I never want to recommend somebody that my name is on, that could maybe be the last straw that kind of carries them over. And it's hard. It's scary.
It's scary to refer.
Especially because you guys experience the same thing with the podcast, right? Like, we've had partners and sponsors for like almost 2 years now for Service Business Mastery, but it is a very delicate thing. Like, I don't want to work with somebody that I can't personally stand, and I don't want to work with, and I don't trust them, and I don't think they're actually going to be in it for the right reasons. We had, I won't mention names, we had someone who was growing their coaching organization and was going to throw money at us, and I literally, you guys know who this person is. Yeah, told Tersh, I said, I don't care. I said, I'd rather just work for free. Like, I do not want that person's money, no matter what strings. I just don't. Like, I don't want it to be associated with us. I don't want to promote them. I don't want to give them the space or the time, because I just didn't believe in what they were trying to do. And it's a hard thing, though, because a lot of, especially with platforms like podcasts, people want to get their name out, and they know it's a great way to do it.
Oh, we get messages every day, and I'll be like, oh, that sounds like a good one. And Leslie will be like, they're trying to sell something. And I'm like, okay, oh, hey. And then we get all these messages. But it's the same for us, because Leslie and I have full-time businesses. This is, while the podcast has sponsors, it's not like Leslie and I are just like getting rich off of those things. It's like allowing us, those sponsorships allows us to go to these events and to go to further the mission, right? Where it's still like a not-for-profit thing for us, And so when people start, like you said, throwing money, I want to sponsor you. It's like, you can't throw enough money at me to sell my soul. I won't do it. And that was why Leslie and I, from the beginning,
We still have those moments.
have aligned well with each other still too, though, because we're just like, thankfully we have the same vision and it's never been a question. But sometimes you see that dollar and for a second you're like,
it's
no.
it's a constant moral question. It's like, well, this would really help us do this, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So maybe we suck it up and we just do it.
But when I learned too, is if someone's throwing you $1 more than what you were asking for, there's a red flag because they know that they need you more than you need them.
Yep.
100%.
So
100%.
This
has been great, ladies.
Yeah.
I'm glad I was your first one. I hope you're awake now.
We are.
I got to take a walk.
We are. We need to definitely wrap up, but we really appreciate my relationship with you and with Quality, and I know the same for Leslie, and
Likewise.
Most importantly, thank you for investing in Power Women of the Trades and helping us with that mission as well, because we never could have guessed that this podcast would do what it's doing. We just literally thought we would. I don't know what we thought. Still, some days.
I remember when we in that group thread that we have where you guys were asking questions, and it was like you guys would do like, yes, go do it. Like you guys would be so awesome at it. And I think the mission.
Well,
and
you guys have kind of been big brothers to us. Yeah, y'all have kind of been like our big brother podcast. We're like, what do you think about this? I always said they were what do you think about this?
Our parents, and Leslie's like, no, they're our brothers. Don't call them our parents. Yeah. I'm like, whatever. But
that's a little weird. I mean, we are like,
great.
we're all like the same age.
When we show up and it's just great with you and Tersh when that one, we had to go podcast, or one time I went by myself. Leslie had a conflict in our schedule. And I showed up in the room and Tersh and Josh are bringing me water and doing this and doing that, and they're next door. That. And it's just like, that's not something you can fake. Like character, it just stands out to me. And so you're at the top of that. So we really appreciate you. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you, ladies. This was great. I really enjoyed doing this. Leslie, you probably need to get your walk in before your next one comes in.
I'm like fading fast.
She's going for a walk.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, have a good day, and we'll talk to you soon. See you soon.
Bye.
Sounds good. See you guys.
Hope you were inspired by the incredible stories of Cassie and Leslie. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends. Until next time, stay inspired, stay strong, and keep making a difference.